Okay, so this time we're gonna go to Gregg's bakery instead of hanging out with Belle, and we're gonna see what the difference is. I remembered Gregg's invitation. Belle was nice, but I didn't think I could handle driving around in this heat. Besides, I really wanted to learn to make cakes. Or more accurately, I wanted to eat them. With last night's encounter with Nikita all but forgotten, I made myself somewhat presentable and headed to town. So this is the other route. I'm not... Yeah, so I'm gonna do that one next time. I did Belle, I'm gonna do Gregg, and then next time I'm gonna do, what's her face? Heidi? Heidi? Yeah. This one branches out at a later point in the game, also, which is the other reason that I picked it to do second. Hi, Gregg. I hope I'm not too late to make cakes with you. Oh no, not at all. I was just about to start. I'm glad you decided to come. You better wash your hands so we can get baking. I ended up just trying and failing to follow Gregg's baking instructions. Accidentally baking a whisk into one of the cakes was the least disastrous moment. Once the cupcakes came out of the oven, we got the chance to talk properly. Okay, Trixie, time to ice our cakes. Let's get creative. I looked at my vaguely cape-shaped blob of carbon. Adding icing to these would be like sticking plasters on someone hit by a howitzer shell. I don't know how you do this every day. I'm tired already. Although, to be fair, tired is pretty much my default state of being. It is pretty tiring, especially since I'm open pretty much every day. I might not need to work as hard soon, though. This is a great day to be super snuffly. Oh god. Hold on. Maybe I can take a break and enjoy the sun. I need to get to the beach. Oh, are you getting like a machine to make stuff for you or what? Gregg was suspiciously silent for a moment. I could see their eyes and thought. Kinda. I could tell they didn't want to talk about it, so I tried to change the subject. It's kind of nice getting outside in the sun. I used to have to stay inside a lot during the summer since I can't really handle the sun with my lack of melanin. I got some of that new UV protective sun shampoo for it though this year, so I've actually been able to get outside. I'm still a little worried I might end up sunburnt though. I miss the heat. Hopefully I can spend some time outside before this heat wave ends. You used to miss it? Oh, I moved here when I was pretty young. Me and my parents used to live in Oceania. Wait, no, Oceania. I always pronounce it like the actual place, but it's not spelled like that. I still remember playing in the summers there. They were even hotter than it is here today. Oh wow, I hadn't realized. That's cool. I've wanted to visit Oceania for ages, but I don't think I could handle the heat there in the winter, let alone the summers. Thousands of ash islands dotted the strange Siberian artifacts thrown across the planet by the Dark Age cataclysm. Sounded right up my alley. What about sheepsit? Is that going to be a problem for you? I don't really know much about immigration. Oh, no, I'll be fine, since I've lived here for so long. I still think it sucks, though, and that poor sheep, I can't believe the Prime Minister wants to let her kid bite it back or she won't accept an exit deal. I hadn't heard about that yet, but it didn't surprise me in the slightest. The exit negotiations were growing increasingly surreal. With the ring, the shop door opened and in strode a familiar face. What's up, sluts? Hey, Hattie! Are you just popping in for lunch? You bet, I can't hang around long. I have some stuff to sort out at the shop. She shot me a slightly scary look. I think it was meant to be friendly, but it's kind of hard to tell with Heidi. Can I get 20 soy meat rolls and a whiskey? Haha, Heidi, I don't sell alcohol. How many times do I have to tell you? Gregg said as she got a half-liter bottle of Dusty Dunes whiskey out from under the counter and poured it into a paper cup. I'm not sure if the she is referring to Heidi, who somehow has access to whiskey from this side of the counter, or if Gregg just also uses she pronouns. I'm confused. Heidi smiled and winked at me. I winked back and probably looked pretty silly. Well, I better get going. See you later, you two. Oh, Heidi, before you go. Did you sell any boxes? I need some. Boxes? Yeah, I have some boxes. You can have them for free, honestly. I have plenty spare. Alright, awesome. I'll come pick them up later. Nice. I'll see you then, dude. Heidi laughed and we got back to icing. What do you need boxes for, Gregg? Before Gregg could respond, the shop's phone started to ring. I'll get that. Oh fuck, I can't. This microphone picks me up too well. Too well to be sniffly. They picked it up and gave a chirpy hello. I like to eavesdrop at the best of times, but when Gregg's face dropped and they ran to the cupboard, I knew I wouldn't be able to resist. Yes? Like most of it? No, that's too much. No, I can't. I don't have enough. Right. I know. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll try harder. Goodbye. Gregg re-emerged from the cupboard. They looked deflated, hurt even. Sorry, Trixie. Business stuff. Are you okay, Gregg? Want to talk about it? I'm not usually one to ask that. I don't have the energy to deal with my own problems, let alone other people's, but seeing the usually chirpy Gregg break down like that caught me off guard. Oh, it's nothing important, just... the bakery hasn't been doing so well recently. I've been relying on selling in bulk to a couple of big businesses, a few hundred pastries a day for their canteens and stuff, right? Problem is I haven't been able to keep up with the amount they need. Most of them have already dropped me. That was Crowbar Inc. on the phone. The CEO personally phoned to complain I wasn't making them enough pastries for their lunch. I've got a week to turn it around, and if not... well, I have to close, I guess. Oh, does that mean that Gregg's closes in the other timeline? That's sad. I'll have to find a new job. In telemarketing, maybe? Yeah, sorry, Trixie. I didn't mean to kill the mood, haha. They were trying their best to backtrack and pretend everything was fine. Hey, no worries, Gregg. I wish I could help, but... I looked at Gregg's pristine cupcakes, and then I gazed in fear upon my abominations. I don't think I'm cut out for baking. That's okay, Trixie. It's my problem to deal with, not yours. They seemed to think for a moment. Hey, Trixie? Are you into spooky magic stuff by any chance? For sure, I study it at uni. Kind of. Why? I thought so. You look like the type. Was it that obvious? There's, I guess, kind of a plan I have. Maybe you could help me with it. I wasn't sure I liked where this was going. This is probably going to sound really silly, but a few years back I got hold of some book. Cryptids of the South, I think? Oh, sweet, I read that last term instead of doing my actual work. I was like, wow, I can write my report on spooky monsters. Then I reread the report brief and realized it was meant to be about some old dead language. I had to get my friend to bail me out. It's a fun book, right? Pretty silly, but... when I started struggling to keep up with the orders, I remembered one of the entries, the antler tree. Oh yeah, they're like some old food god or something, right? I can see why you'd like that. Hold on. Haha. But this antler tree is meant to bless people in need with endless amounts of food, right? Those weirdos up in North Acres, they worship the antler tree, don't they? Yeah, ever since the Dark Ages, I think. Oh, sorry, the Dark Age, I think. Exactly, when the entire country was starving because of the ash storms. Right, about 1.8 million people died over here. I was trying to make myself look smart by quitting the one statistic that has stayed with me from my college courses required reading. But yeah, I studied the Dark Age back in college. It was pretty bad. So you probably know North Acres is one of the only places in the country to have a death rate below like 5%, right? The others had a ton of farms and stuff, so it made sense, but Ovington and North Acres? It was a mining village that had to import most of the food from the nearby towns, and they didn't have any to export during the famines. They were right, it was a pretty well-known fact. People say a stranger arrived at Ovington when the villagers started to get ill. Ovington and some of the nearby villages started to worship the antler tree and survived the Dark Age with no trouble. So my point is, if the antler tree could help them, then maybe it can help me now. I know this probably sounds like I'm mad, but I really believe that if this creature is real, it could help me. It might be my only chance to save the bakery. Gregg did sound a little mad, but I wasn't exactly one to judge on that front. If I had an endless supply of pastry, that's my problem solved, right? I know it's a selfish use of endless food, but... Anyway, it sounds like you know all about this stuff, and I guess if you don't think I'm being too ridiculous, it'd be real cool if you wanted to. I guess help me contact this thing, if it's real. I mean, I've already been making some plans to do this by myself, but if you're willing to help, it might be easier. I was taken aback. Gregg wanted to contact some kind of mysterious woodland god? Wasn't that generally a bad idea? Gregg, before I could reply, a group of wool suitors burst in, I guess from the wool fest going on in town today. Oh, I want to see the wool suitors. Oh no. There's not a picture. I half expected to see Tabby, but I don't think she was there. It's not like she would have had said hi anyway. She probably wasn't interested in talking to me. They all bought grass cakes. I guess they were getting into character. After they left, Gregg spoke up again. So, what do you think, Trixie? Want to go along with my silly idea? I couldn't say no. Gregg deserved to keep their bakery, and if this at best silly and at worst horrifically dangerous scheme made them at least feel better about the situation, I'd go along with it. In retrospect, this was a poor decision. Sure, Gregg, you can use my expertise. I gave them a smile and tapped my little brain. Mood. Gregg ran over to me for a hug, but I guess my face went into the about-to-be-hugged grimace I'd adopted ever since puberty hit me. Oh, sorry. Not really into hugs, sorry, Gregg. Maybe another time. Gregg seemed to understand. Thank you, Trixie. So, there's this book called The Notes of Ilaria Divanenbor. Okay, don't make me say that name again. Apparently she knew a lot about this kind of stuff. There's only like 2 copies though. Yeah, one of the spooky grimoires. There we go. I'm pretty sure they're always kind of bullshit though. I said this, but at the back of my mind I couldn't help but think of The King in Yellow. After seeing Nikita last night, and feeling the pull of that play's yellowed pages. I mean, sure, most of them probably are. But the Notes of Ilaria Divanenbor. Well, I've heard things about it. Anyway, I might be able to get a hold of a copy soon. But let's talk about that tomorrow. We have cakes to ice. We iced for a little longer, but eventually I had to get going. Gregg let me take some of their cupcakes back to my room for lunch, which was nice. I think mine ended up in the biohazard bin. It had been a nice, if strange, day. Oh my god, stop sniffling, QC! Okay, tell me if the sniffling is like overwhelming, because I might need to switch to a game that doesn't require me to talk as much. According to Poppygon.com, Cyberjet Coolias from Mars was getting a reboot, so that was cool. Cyberbat Razor had a new design, somehow even hotter than the other one. Oh, okay, this is the same. That's the same text. Okay, I'd been gorging on the cupcakes I brought back from Gregg's all evening, thinking about what we had spoken about. I decided to wait till I saw Gregg again to look into it. Eventually I managed to get to sleep, only to be immediately woken up by knocking at my door. It was Nikita. She'd been shouting abuse at me. Okay, so I'm gonna... Are we good with me skipping stuff that happened in the past playthrough to go through it faster? Not that I'm rushing, but just that, like, I don't really want to read the same stuff twice. I think there's a skip button, so let's see if that works. Okay. Oh, okay, wait, this is different. I guess because we agreed with Nikita instead of trying to contradict her, and now we read it, and it's making us be weird. This is the same. Oh no, we read it the last time though, because I remember this. I needed the play, it was mine now. Give it to me, Nikita. I don't know why this is happening. I don't feel like this happened last time. I realized I'd let go to shout at her. I quickly grabbed it again, but it was too late. Nikita shoved me and I tumbled to the floor. As I fell through the air, I caught a glimpse of the first line of the second act. In that moment, I saw only a blur of ink scrawled onto a yellow page. I'm not even sure I truly read it, but it left an imprint on my mind nevertheless. And then anything else that happened the next few days, no matter how bad it got, nothing compared to this. If I could destroy all memories of this year. Oh no, yeah, this is the same. Okay, never mind. Oh. Okay, well we have a knife now. I don't know why we didn't have a knife last time. We had crazy scissors, but... Nikita, I was wrong. Please just put away the weapon and calm down. But it was too late. Nikita seemed convinced I was her enemy. She glared at me, her eyes filled with an anger matched only by the cloud waves of Holly. I thought I was being more diplomatic, but I guess I was being less diplomatic. We can't skip anymore, so this is new. You saw my calling inked into that page, Trixie, whether you want to admit it or not. You know, have always known where I was headed. To Carcosa, to the Broken Throne. My head hurt at the mention of the Forsaken City. Surely Nikita couldn't truly intend to sit upon its throne. Look, Trixie, you had your chance to join me, as my underling. Yeah, this game has the same visual novel technology where the skip will stop if it's different. I couldn't burden Gregg with it. They already had their bakery issues to contend with, and, well, to be honest, they didn't seem like the type who could handle serious danger like this. I guess the knife is also useless, but I guess the weapon is technically different this time. I was lying awake when I noticed a figure stood at my door, tall, robed, and perfectly still. I held my breath and shut my eyes. I don't know how long they were shut, but eventually I opened them again. My breathing was ragged as I focused. There was no one there. Of course, I realized in the morning I was freaking out over my dressing gown. Eventually, I managed some small amount of restful sleep, an hour or two at most. When I awoke, I could remember what happened with the kid all too well. I was thinking about seeing how Gregg was doing when my phone buzzed. It was Gregg. Convenient. Gregg the baker. Hey Trixie, I was wondering if you wanted to come help me with that thing I asked about yesterday. Smiley face. I guess Trixie just misspelled her own name in her phone because all of the texting dialogue has it with Z's for some reason. Oh, I could, I guess. You okay, Trixie? Smiley face, smiley face. You sound sad, frowny face. Yeah, I'm okay, I'm just tired is all. Maybe having a classic HRT mood swing, haha. I'll come over soon, okay? Okay, hope you feel better soon. Don't push yourself, but also... Oh my god. Why? Oh my god, thank you. Why am I sneezing so much? Oh god. I don't understand what's happening. You'll stop shedding, thank you. I hope you feel better soon. Don't push yourself, but also please come, because I need you. I almost forgot about my discussion with Gregg. I was already feeling weird about the whole meddling with strange entity stuff they had going on, and after last night, I just wanted to stop Gregg from making any mistakes. If the King in Yellow was real, Carcosa, the broken throne. Malice, do not say that. I didn't need another unspeakable terror in my life. I shook my head. It would probably be fine. I'll talk them out of it. Gregg was making cakes as usual. Hi, Trixie. Nice to see you. Feeling any better? Oh yeah, I'm feeling fine. I just had a late night, is all. It was half true. I didn't really want to get into the crap with Nikita right now, much less the King in Yellow. No, today was going to be a relaxing day of helping out Gregg. I could worry about Carcosa later. So you wanted me to help with something, right? Like research? Ha ha ha, no, not research. I got some stuff sorted out last night already. I totally arranged a meeting with someone selling a copy of that book I need right here in town. We're meeting tonight. That sounds dangerous, said QZ. Oh, cool, so you're like buying it and want me to help you read it? I was thinking more you help me steal it? I think Gregg saw the look on my face and scrambled to keep me on board. Unfortunately, they succeeded. Hey, it's for a good cause, right? I can't afford it. I needed to save my bakery. And besides, like, maybe it's a fake. They might just be scam artists. We'd be beating them at their own game. I don't know, Gregg. That sounds like a crime, a criminal act. We'd be criminals, Gregg. But this might be my only chance to save the bakery. This person, apparently they are rich, if that makes any difference. Oh. I mean, if they're rich and hoarding haunted books and you're poor and need haunted books, I guess that means ethically we have to rob them, right? Like that old story where the fox stole money from the rich and gave it to the poor or wherever? Or whatever? Exactly like that. Those haunted books belong to everyone, and I need one to save my bakery. And maybe in the future we can make it up to them. So, you in? Unfortunately, I said yes. We spent most of the day running around the bakery like normal, but after we closed up for the day we got down to our dirty, dirty crime. Okay, so you know the plan, right? When I say the trigger phrase, Tango October Dusk, you leap out and push the schmuck over. That okay? It wasn't a very subtle trigger phrase. I was curious to see how Gregg might deftly weave it into conversation. Now, when you push them, you gotta make sure it's a good push. We need to grab that book and run. Apparently they're really trained in some kind of dual-wielding weapon-based martial art, and I don't want to find out about that firsthand. Gregg attempted a reassuring smile, but I was not reassured. Yes, they also misspelled Marshall. Or perhaps they learned it from Marshall the squirrel. Oh yeah, I made us some disguises too. Gregg ran into the storeroom. Surprise! It's me, Gregg! This is a terrible plan. I hope I didn't scare you with that spooky face I drew. They tossed a second box over to me. A box? Yeah, of course. We don't want to be recognized, right? They might seek revenge. That wasn't reassuring. Oh my god, but that's adorable though. I tried on my disguise. This would definitely cover our faces, but they weren't particularly impressive. Right, so you know the plan, don't you? I hide behind some bins, with the disguise on. I sighed. I hide behind some bins with a box in my head, and when you say the trigger phrase, I leap out and push over the bookseller. In the confusion, you grab the book and we run away. What's the trigger phrase? Tango October Dusk. Or Todd. Yeah, I knew that. Gregg bit their lip. They didn't seem entirely convinced. I pulled off the box. It'll be fine, Gregg, I promise. But, can I make some changes to my box? Okay, I'm going to... Oh, stuff falling off my desk ASMR. I'm gonna stop for like 1 second. I was muted. Me and Gregg got into position at the meeting spot, the alleyway next to Pound Town. What kind of store is that? A figure appeared at the end of the alleyway as if by magic. They slowly approached us. I kept my head down behind the bins. Oh my god. Who the fuck is this? I mean, it says Delia Moonbeam, keeper of the cosmic secrets, but like... The daylight shroud dissipates, and I arrive here through the moonlight. Delia Moonbeam, keeper of the cosmic secrets, froze as they raised their hood to face Gregg. Wait, is that... Delia shook their head, dismissing whatever they were thinking. Ahem. I mean, wait. Is that definitely the person searching for the lost book of Darkest Dread? Of course. So, you have it? Of course, I could not have forgotten it. I am a servant of the moon itself, here to grace you with terrible gifts. Excellent. This deal should go down smoothly then, my friend. This deal should go down smoothly then, my friend. Was that the trigger phrase? It didn't sound like one, but the irony of launching our crime with it would be pretty funny. Delia would probably laugh about it later. Was Gregg into irony? I wasn't sure. Oh, let's stay hiding. Oh my god, it's like mucusy in this house tonight for no reason. No, that wasn't it. The actual phrase was way crummier. I could distinctly remember rolling my eyes when Gregg first mentioned it. The payment, then. Do you have it? The Moonlight Man demands it. Haha, well, the octagon strikes at dawn, right? Was that the phrase? It sounded weird enough to be it, and it did have the word strike in it. I mean, that's not the phrase, but that is weird. Maybe he forgot. I'm gonna stay hiding, though. No, I knew it wasn't, and I kept hidden. Excuse me? Oh, sorry, it's from a cartoon. I thought you were referencing it. There was an awkward pause. So, like, are you going to give me the money now, or? Haha, yeah, it's a veritable old Tango October Dusk. What? What does that even mean? Oh, I guess we could just keep hiding. I'm gonna leap out. Oh! My faith! Oh, that's beautiful. I leapt out from the bins. Delia yelled, but before they could turn to face me, Gregg jumped at them, creating a short distraction while I knocked them, pushing them forward. Their mask fell to the ground, but seemed undamaged. Delia seemed to realize their face was exposed, but Gregg was already lunging for the book. Delia dropped it and pulled their cloak over their face, keeping their identity shadowed by the night. They ran and quickly disappeared from view. Wow, that went pretty well. Nice job. I should have known keeping their secret identity would be more important than the book. Good thinking. Oh, yeah, no, that was intentional. I totally owned them. It hadn't been intentional, but Gregg seemed impressed. We better get going, Trixie. I don't want to hang around here any longer. Okay, yeah, let's go. Before I could run, something stopped me. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Delia's strange mask lying on the dirty alley floor. Shakily, I looked around. Delia Moonbeam was nowhere to be seen. The mask seemed to stare at me through its single empty eye socket. Memories of a masquerade in the Imperial Palace filled my mind. I shuddered. Was I really considering taking this strange thing? I want the mask. Timidly, I picked up the mask. It was made of a fine china, intricately inlaid with jewels and gold. Me and the mask stared into each other's eyes for some time. Hey, hurry up in case they come back. I jumped and stuffed the mask into my bag. I don't think Gregg saw it. Oh, sorry, coming. I put it in my bag. I took the mask. We hurried through the streets, eventually reaching the bakery where we could pull off our disguises and catch our breath. Hey, Gregg. I feel kinda shitty. We just committed a really mean crime. Hey, no, Trixie, don't worry. That's better I have the book for a good reason than some bad guy getting hold of it, right? Delia will be fine, we just spooked them a little. And you saw how much money they were asking for, they obviously super rich, right? I guess. As long as it's to save the bakery. Of course. I'm sorry for making you feel bad. No, it's okay. I always feel guilty. Even over silly things like being called Trixie. Oh. I sighed. Let's not get into that. Oh, well, thank you for your help, Trixie. I won't let you down. I promise. Gregg reached their arms out, offering me a hug. I'll hug Gregg. I let Gregg hug me. I think I forgot to actually hug them back. I guess I need more practice. Thanks, Trixie. Yep, that sure was a hug, alright. Gregg seemed amused by my awkwardness. Right, I have a book to read. I need some coffee. Gregg flicked through the book, their eyes flitting back and forth for the passage they needed. Between every page, they took another big sip of mocha. They must have refilled their cup about 8 times in less than half an hour. I found it. Calleth forth to thy harvest queen. Harvest. Okay. It's like a spell or something. Awesome. This is such a cool book, haha. I wanted to be glad for Gregg, they seemed to be enjoying the book, but I still felt uneasy about this. Cool, Gregg. They were so excited they didn't seem to notice I wasn't too keen on this. Gregg is lovely, but easily distracted. It seems pretty simple. We just need to get some food we want, an effigy to the antler tree, and then just drop it off. I mean a hare. Huh. Well, wait. An effigy to the antler tree and then just drop it off. Oh, just a drop of... I read a word that didn't exist. And then a drop of a hair? Oh, well, they want blood and he read it as hair so that we're not freaking out, I think is what the subtext is here. Huh. I mean, we have all of those except the effigy. I mean, we could make one out of, like, marzipan or something, right? Like you do for wedding cakes? Yeah, we could go to North Acres and steal one. They probably have loads. Yeah, what? Steal? Gregg, didn't you hear me? We could just make one. I guess, yeah, I mean, I kind of wanted to steal one, though. Gregg, are you okay? Did dropping Delia put you into some kind of blood craze or something? What's with all the petty theft? Tried to convince Gregg to stay and make a marzipan effigy. Told Gregg I don't want to commit any more theft and I would stay here and read the book while they committed crimes. Went with Gregg, committed a petty theft, accepting myself as the twisted criminal I am. I'm gonna try to convince Gregg to steal things. Come on, you could totally make a kick-ass effigy out of your marzipan. No need to go all the way to North Acres, right? Yeah, I guess, but I kind of want to drive really fast all the way to North Acres and steal one. It would be fun, right? Gregg was seriously hyped up on caffeine and sugar, even by their standards. It looked like they might actually explode if they didn't go outside and commit a pointless petty theft. It was pretty weird, to be honest. Okay, whatever, Gregg, if it makes you happy. They're all rich over there anyway, so it's basically a victimless crime, right? Yeah, sure, let's go! Should we stay behind and read the book, or should we go along and commit crimes? I want to read the book, because I'm pretty sure he's lying to- or they're lying to us, sorry. I get kind of travel sick. It was pretty lit, so maybe you can go and I'll wait for you here. Yeah, okay, I can drive faster by myself. Less weight, no offense. Before I could respond, they'd grabbed their keys, donned their box, and sped away in their van. Uh-oh. I hope they're okay. Oh well, while Gregg's off committing caffeine-fueled minor crimes, I might as well read this creepy book. The book was pretty huge. I just read the part about the spell Gregg wanted to cast. Notes of Ilaria Devonenbor. Strange Things of the World, 1789. I cannot be pronouncing that correctly. I'm sorry to that name. Calleth forth to thy harvest queen. Listen here, all ye whomst hunger, for here beeth a spell that will aid thee in thy struggle. I don't think beeth is a word. The mother of meat, Our Lady, thy antler tree, shall hear ye when thee perform thy ritual. Thy hungers be healed in her name. First thee needeth thine effigy, thine graven image of thy mother. Though in truth she taketh the form of 1,000 writhing ropes pitted with teeth, and looketh out into the world through 100 eyes, thy form she showeth to us mortals as that of an ancient deer, talleth and slender. Yeah, neither is talleth. I think it's all of the old-timey text in this game is just kind of like a parody of old-timey text in games. It's fun to read, though. A bush of horns resideth on her head, at her head. Maybe in England they have other words I'm not aware of here. Create ye this image in thy hands, and place it in thy stove or fire. Into the fire throweth thy food of thy choice, for this is what shall be provided for thee. No, for 3. I think that's a typo. Into thy fire throweth thine blood, as little as a drop, for this is thy mother's toll. Allow now the effigy to burn with the food in thy offering. In time thy gifts shall come. That sounded a lot more ominous than Gregg had let on. They hadn't mentioned a friggin' blood sacrifice. I decided to close the book. Part of me wanted to read more, but I knew in my current state, memories of the Yellow King still etched into my mind. This book was best left alone. It wasn't long until Gregg returned with their stolen effigy. I'm back. I have the effigy. I stole it. I stole it from a church! You stole it from a church? Oh, nice work, Gregg, albeit entirely unnecessary. Gregg was double-checking the book, I guess making sure we had everything. Those meanies at Crowbar Inc. will feel so silly for doubting. Me, Gregg. Gregg seemed to be crashing, unsurprising given the amount of extra sweet mocha they'd drank. I took another look at the effigy. It was an elongated prehistoric deer skull carved from wood. Strips of dark fabric hung underneath it, and a confused mess of twigs stuck out from the skull. It was unsettling. Something about it felt deeply wrong. As if something evil looked out at me through its empty eye sockets. I shook it off. There are worse things out there than silly skull puppets. Awesome, cool, They yawned squeakily. Clearly, they were about to pass out. We got everything we need. Though maybe let's wait till tomorrow, or... Gregg fell asleep. Poor thing. Oh my god. Good night, Gregg. I left them with a note so they'd know I wasn't kidnapped and managed to get a taxi back to my place. That night I dreamt of the basement on Daffodil Lane. I was crumpled on the floor, blood stained the fur on my side and covered my hands. Through blurry eyes I could make out Nikita. She was saying something to me, but her voice was too muffled and distorted to make out. She seemed smug, so no change there. After a seemingly endless monologue, she threw her hands skyward, and with a flash of white light and a splash of cold cloud spray, a white gate opened at the far end of the room. The white gate to Carcosa. I shivered as the chill rolled off of Lake Cali. After giving me a last pitiful look, Nikita stepped through the gate, leaving me alone in the cold basement. For a moment, nothing happened. A strange calm came over me. For this wonderful solitude was cut short. For from the white gate emerged the cloaked visage of the king in yellow. Their tattered rags billowed in the increasing wind, floating like the tentacles of some terrible deep-sea creature. They stared ahead before peering down at me with a slow turn of their head. Looking right at me. Oops. Right into me. I blacked out, and when I woke I found myself elsewhere. Me and Gregg were running through a dark forest. We seemed desperate to escape something. I tried to yell, "Why are we running?" to Gregg. But my voice was muffled and quiet. I glanced over my shoulder and regretted it. Towering above us, some distance away, was a dark figure as tall as the trees surrounding us. An elongated skull peered down at us with empty sockets, a bush of tangled thorns piercing the dark sky. The antlered tree. Black mist emanated from it and crawled through the trees toward us with frightening speed. I yelled in fear and hurried away. At least now I knew why me and Gregg were running. Gregg shouted, falling over a discarded coffee cup stuck in the dirt. I spun around to make sure they were okay, but Gregg was pulled into the black mist and disappeared with a shriek. Not wanting to look, I turned back. The bakery's door was still far in the distance. My foot caught a root and I tripped, black mist devouring me. I plunged back into consciousness and awoke, screaming and shaking. My eyes darted around my room. I was alone. Everything was as it should be. I was as exhausted as ever, as was my life now. After last night's dream, it was more intent than ever to simply let my problems slip from my mind. I thought I'd better check on Gregg. Maybe they'd want to perform their fucked up ritual today. After that dream, I was even more uneasy about the situation. They didn't message back for a while. Gregg the baker. Sugar, too much sugar. Sugar hanged over. Staying in bed. Oh no, have a nice rest. Poor Gregg, all those mochas last night must have come back with a vengeance. I sighed with nothing to distract me. There was nothing else for it. I'd have to face up to Nikita. Right on cue, there was a knock at my door. This is the same, I think. Center point of the 3 standing stones was nowhere near Daffodil Lane. Wasn't it near Daffodil Lane, though, last time? Heck, Daffodil Lane didn't even fall into the area between them. The midpoint was the lake. Surely someone as smart as Nikita should know that. She was bluffing, she must have been. Or maybe she meant some other standing stones. I didn't bother considering what might be wrong. She was Nikita. She was smarter than me, she knew what she was talking about. All I could do was try to keep up with her, or give up. I didn't have long. Nikita had said herself that all she needed to do was wait, and... Wait and what? I realized I had no idea what she planned to do with this information. She had mentioned the library. Of course Nikita was always in the library, so that was no surprise, but perhaps there was a way to stop her hidden in its thousands of books. She had mentioned the- oh. It might be my only chance. I had to read books. I rushed straight to the library. There was no time to lose. It always shut early on a weekend. I quickly went through the shelves I thought might be relevant. Myths, local history, literature. I wanted to find the book Nikita had mentioned, Reaching Other Worlds. Okay, this is the same. Oh, yeah. I'm like a lot less discombobulated this run. Or rather, Trixie is. I'm pretty sure that Reaching Other Worlds is the only relevant book here. Yeah. Oh, actually, since we noticed that the middle was near the lake, we can just look at the lake book this time. No. I can't find the scissors, but this time Nikita took a knife, not scissors, so I don't know what happened to my scissors. On my bedroom wall was a scribbled pencil drawing of what seemed to be Nikita. Above her, 2 floating skulls surrounded by a cloud. Had I drawn this? My room didn't look like it had been broken into, and it was my art style, not that I have one. I realized I was getting dangerously unhinged. I had to stop Nikita, only then I could start to recover. Fortunately, it looked like Nikita hadn't been arrested for any terrible crimes. Unfortunately, this meant she was still my problem alone. Should we agree to hang out with Parsnip because we didn't last time and I kind of want to see what happens? Yeah, I guess I can hang out for a little while. Yay, oh wow, I'm so excited! Let's go ask Rosie if she would like to come too. Oh, okay, I can't be too long though, I'm pretty busy, so... All-day picnic! All-day picnic! He skipped off to La Rose's cottage and started to regret agreeing to this, but followed along behind him. Eventually I caught up to Parsnip. He was knocking at La Rose's door and bouncing excitedly. I saw La Rose peering out of the window between a crack in the curtains before receding into the darkness of her cottage. I got the impression she didn't want to be involved. I don't think La Rose is home. Parsnip, maybe we should get going? There was a loud crash from inside. Fuck's sake. Fucking easel cunt. If you're not going to stay standing up, then why even live? I heard the distinctive sound of an easel being snapped in half. I think it was an easel being snapped in half. I'm not sure what gave me that impression. You're right, I don't think she's in. I was starting to doubt how much Parsnip existed in our plane of reality. I guess it's just you and me, friend. He pulled a friendship yarn out of his bag and waved it at me. You still have yours, right? Right? I rummaged through my stuff and pulled out the yarn. It was slightly worse for wear after a few days of being in my bag, but Parsnip's face lit up, nevertheless, when I gently wiggled it. I'd never throw away this present. Yay! Oh yay! What a great friendship! I was glad to have diffused the situation. I didn't want to get on Parsnip's bad side. He seemed slightly unstable. Let's get on with our picnic. Follow me to the wheat field, friend. The wheat field wasn't a great spot given that the wheat hadn't been cut, but it was at least somewhat shady between the crops. Parsnip had giggled as he trampled to the field to the picnic spot. He seemed to find running through the field of wheat strangely naughty. Though part of me thought the devious giggling in secluded spot may have just been because I was about to be murdered, I quickly shook those thoughts off, intent on trying my best to have a nice time. Parsnip started to unpack his picnic hamper. I have to admit I was slightly dreading what he might pull out. I'm gonna turn my music down slightly. To my surprise, what he did get out looked really good. A tray of cupcakes, each decorated with different colored icing and sprinkles. A few even had chocolate chips and flakes in them. Things were looking up. He got a pitcher of water out of the basket. Somehow it hadn't spilled inside despite being sideways and having no lid, possibly defying the laws of physics. He poured the water into a pair of plastic cups and handed me a red one. I thanked him and took a sip. The water was surprisingly nice and very cold. Are we about to die? I thought this might turn out to be nice after all. I thought I'd soon come to regret. At this point, Parsnip got out a bag of Sugar Daddy icing sugar out of his hamper and poured a good 100 grams into his cup. Sugar partially dissolved into the water, but most of it settled at the bottom of the cup. I grimaced at the thought of drinking it. Would you like some sugar? No, that's okay, Parsnip. Thanks for the offer. Then try some cake. I looked at the cupcakes. There were about 10 on a shared plate. They had different colored icing and decorations. They looked pretty nice, if a little sickly. That said, something about them felt off. I don't think we should eat this, but also we haven't actually had any game overs besides the actual ending, so you guys should vote. I think that's supposed to say eat the food. I cautiously picked up a small cupcake. On the surface it looked fine, but something about it felt off. Parsnip didn't seem like the kind of person who would make a good baker. Regardless, it was too late now. Parsnip was looking at me expectantly with his big, pleading eyes. He was clearly proud of his work, and I felt a little bad at the thought of disappointing him. I took a small bite out of the cupcake, and the sponge crumbled like ash in my mouth. Sugar crawled down my throat, threatening to choke me. The taste of decay filled my mouth, and I gagged. Ugh. I spat out the cake into the wheat and grabbed my cup of water. I swirled the liquid around my mouth and spat it out, gasping for air. I did not save, but we'll live, hopefully. How'd I imagine that? Could the cake really have been that bad? Parsnip stared at me unblinking, his smile completely unchanged. We both sat in silence for a moment while I regained my breath. So, did you like it? No? Yes? No. Sorry, Parsnip, it was really bad. Great, have a taste of the rest. I worked really hard. I watched Parsnip start to nibble tiny bits off the other cakes and put them back on the shared plate. He didn't seem to have taken in anything I had said. He would cycle through the cakes, eating only little bits of each at a time. Occasionally, he would take a sip of sugar water by clumsily holding the plastic cup between his big paws, usually spilling some of the sticky water on himself. He didn't seem to mind. I watched Parsnip nibble on his food in silence until he finished, at which point he fell over backwards, asleep. Good night, Parsnip? Something was bothering me about Parsnip. He felt fundamentally wrong. Something twigged in me and I recalled the thesis that I had read. The rabbit's strange mannerisms and aura filled me with discomfort. I remembered when I first met Parsnip, he had appeared from nowhere as if summoned to me from the void. I had asked him about the king in yellow. There had been no denial, merely a gleeful cry of, "Wow, I love yellow! Oh wow, it's my favorite color!" I broke out into a sweat. A confession, I knew it. I'd been toyed with all along. That cursed string Parsnip had given me all those days ago. I pulled it out of my bag and threaded it through itself and into an intricate but all too familiar shape. The yellow sign. This was a gift to me from the king, or perhaps a warning or a curse. I shuddered in fear and quickly pushed the terrible sign back into my bag. I would have to think about this further. I buried the thoughts in my mind. I snuck away, only to run straight into LaRose. Ah! Fuck, how long have you been there? We need to talk. It was an incredibly ominous conversation starter. Okay, here? I peered down at the snoozing Parsnip, judging by sniffing nose and munching noises he was dreaming about food. My place. She started walking off and sounded serious. I silently followed LaRose to her cottage. Things felt really intense. Did she know what I knew about Parsnip? So, Parsnip has given you one of those strings too, then. How long had you been watching this? Wait, is that what this is about? Kind of. There was a long silence while my brain tried to process things. You just seemed pretty intense. I was kind of worried. I mean, well, it is important. A bit. Is LaRose holding her cigarette backwards? The yarn. Do you have one as well? I have at least 20. When I woke up this morning, there was 3 poking through my letterbox. I was concerned for her. There was, to receive one of the cursed gifts from the King in Yellow was bad enough, but 20? LaRose seemed to live in blissful ignorance of their true evil, at least. I decided it was kinder to let her stay that way. I'm considering using them to tie a makeshift noose. Haha. Wait, was that a joke? Sure. So far, all I've been able to do is hoover them up and burn the bags. Like my students, Parsnip is not receptive of criticism. So anyway, I wanted to ask you for your help. I really need to get rid of Parsnip. So are you trying to get me to